Welcome back to Professor Bet's Week 6 picks. Now understand, last week, Week 5, we went 7 for 7. That might be our best week yet, which has been no shortage of winning. We went 4 for 4, 5 for 5, 7 for 9. We've had wonderful weeks throughout the season. We have made money every single week. But understand, that might be my best. And some of you might be saying, Professor Betts, you said Green Bay minus 3.5. Understand, I made that video Monday night. By Tuesday, when I placed my own bets, the video is not out yet. You guys could not have seen it yet. I made my own bets. It was at -3. When I put out the video, it was -3. So if you put the bets down, you got -3. I went 7 for 7. That's what I care about. If you bet with me using my video, you went 7 for 7. So moving on, let's get into what we have for Week 6. We have 6 NFL bets, 3 UFC bets, and they're all amazing, okay? We're going to go ahead and kick it off with Bucs versus Eagles. Now, that is a -310 favorite for the Bucs. I'm totally comfortable with that. The Bucs are going to win that game, but I'm not going to bet the 7 points. I'm not going to bet the spread, okay? The understanding here is that the pass defense is so poor for the Bucs. I'm not willing to put my money on that. But understand, there is a secret here. If you're saying -310, I don't want to bet that. I understand, okay? There is an over total points for 51.5. Now, that'll get you -110 odds. And this is one of those games that are almost guaranteed to go over 51.5 points. I have no problems with that. Tom Brady is aiming for the MVP. It's clear as day. I'm okay with it. Fine, go for it. I love that. I know what to expect from you week to week. They're going to score a bunch of points. He is shooting for that MVP run. I think he might be runner-up for it right now. It's pretty close right now, but he's going to get very, very close. He's going to keep putting up big numbers. 51.5 points is an easy over bet there. Moving on to our second pick, and one of the most interesting picks for the weekend. I don't understand it exactly. We have the Bengals, -3 favorites over the Lions. Now, I'm going to bet that all day. That's a -110. I'll take that. But here's where it gets a little bit strange, guys. Green Bay came off a Week 1 blistering loss to the Saints, 38-3. Entering Week 2, where they played the Lions, they were plus 11.5 point favorites. Now, why is that so weird? Green Bay played the Bengals last week and were -3 point favorites. We won on that. We talked about that earlier. But now, Bengals versus Lions, the Bengals are only 3 point favorites. I'm going to take that. Of course I'm going to take that. So, betting that's a -110. That seems just to be too simple for me. I'm going to bet that. I like that a lot. Now, this next bet, you're going to say, this makes me no money. Put this in a parlay. Put this, maybe just big money on this because it's a lock, okay? The LA Rams are going to beat the Giants. Now, here's why I'm not going to bet the -10.5 point favorites. Or the other way, I just don't know who's going to be healthy for the Giants. That's a huge deal. If Daniel Jones or a receiver comes back, that might change the flow of the game a little bit. I'm not too interested on watching the injury reports all the way up until the final minute to make a bet. I'm going to make my bet early. The LA Rams are going to win regardless of who shows up. I'm just not going to play the point game of it. I don't want to do that, okay? Finally, we have Dallas to cover versus the Patriots. Now, that's -4.5 points. Understand why that's such a big deal. They barely squeaked out a win last week versus the Texans. I put money on that game. It was a lot closer than I expected. At the end of the day, Patriots pulled it off with some winning drives. They're just not on Dallas's level, understand. And Dallas is a big offensive threat. They don't have a favorite target, a favorite weapon. Their run game is one of the best in the league. Their passing game, they have 2, 3, 4 receivers all capable of doing harm. So Belichick's mindset of take away your best threat, I'm not exactly sure what threat he's going to take away, and I'm not sure what it's going to do, okay? So we're going to bet the Dallas Cowboys -4.5 favorites. I'm okay with that. -5.5 favorites. I'm okay with that. -6.5 favorites. I think I'm okay with that as well. Anything past 7, not betting it. We're going to go ahead and bet Dallas to cover, -4.5. That's -115 odds. Moves us into our 5th NFL bet. One I'm feeling very good about as well. The Bills to cover versus the Titans. Now, that's 5.5 points right there that you're asking for the Bills to cover. They can do it. Understand the Titans' defense is disastrous. The Jets were not ready to win until about Week 11, Week 12, if they faced a weak team or injured team. They got their win super early due to a Titans terrible Titans defense. and an offense that really has been sputtering. I understand for the Jets game, they were out their wide receivers, but they've been stuttering all year long. So I'm going to go ahead and bet -5.5. I'll bet that all the way up to a touchdown. That's -115 odds. You can kind of see where the bettors are going early on if something changes from a -110 to a -115. That means a lot of people are seeing that. It's not just because the Bills beat the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm not too worried about that. The Titans are just not a very good team. That leads me into my final NFL bet, and it's one that I have the underdog winning, and I'm not exactly sure why they're the underdog. I might even take it if it was flip-flop, but the Cardinals to win outright versus the Browns is a +125. I don't think the Cardinals are going to lose to the Browns. I think the Browns make way too many mistakes throughout a game. Now, they are a very good team. The weapons in this game are just going to be outright insane, okay? But the Cardinals, I don't want them to lose, and maybe this is a little bit selfish. I don't want them to lose till they play another NFC West team. Somebody in their own division, as the whole division is good. I think that's where they'll get their first loss. I understand I was 7 for 7 last weekend, so why not take a shot? I'm going to take the shot, okay? Moving into our UFC bets now, this is something you want to pay attention to. These inner sports bets, they're the best, okay? And I'm going to go ahead and kick it off with the main event for UFC Fight Night, Aspen Ladd versus Dumont. Now, Aspen Ladd's going to win. She's a 26-year-old knockout artist. I'm telling you, she's a beast. She's playing a decision fighter in Dumont. Now, that means she goes to decisions. Now, she may win most of those decisions, but I'm going to value the person that's actually knocking out their competition. The UFC pairs them very closely. So if they're pairing Aspen Ladd and she's just knocking out people, there's something to be said in that. Now, moving on to my next one. This is the co-main event. It's a little bit strange. It's a heavyweight matchup. You have Arlovski versus Felipe. Now, understand both of these are decision fighters, but Arlovski's very old. Not to mention that, but Felipe has a body type that can just weigh on Arlovski throughout the fight. I think that Felipe will win the decision. There could be a knockout, but I'm going to go ahead and say it's the decision, considering both are mainly decision fighters. That moves us into our final bet for the weekend, one of the most solid bets for the weekend. Now, you might say LA Rams, -600 favorites. Bucs, -310 favorites. I understand that, okay? I do. But Fiorot versus Silva. Fiorot is 7-1, 6-0 versus knockouts. So that means she's knocked 6 people out. She's never been knocked out. Her last 5 fights are all knockouts. Only one fighter has made it to the 3rd round in her last 5 bouts. She's fighting somebody in Silva who's a decision fighter. Silva is 4-1 in her last 5 fights. That is 3 decisions that she's won, 1 knockout, she lost, and 1 submission, but that submission was to an 0-2 fighter. I don't know if Silva has what it takes to get Fiorot out of there. I know Fiorot has what it takes to get Silva out of there. This is an easy bet. What I've been looking forward for weeks, because it's just easy money. This is easy money, okay? So go ahead and bet those. Mix those around if you want. There's a lot to do with parlays here. You have 9 things to choose from that you want to mix and match to make the most of what you've got there. All of these are great bets. Make sure that you are betting with me. Understand, we were 7 for 7. We've been 4 for 4. We are absolutely killing it. So why would you not just take my bets? It's free. I'm giving them to you, okay? So take the bets, make some money. Let me know what you like. If there's anything you would like me to change, if there's anything you would like me to add to these to make you feel more comfortable. But let me tell you, there's nothing more comfortable than winning. Make your money with me and let me know about it. Thank you very much for watching. Take care, you guys.